Shut up and sit down.
Hi, I'm Dan Cox. This is your MMA update. My buddy, my partner Bob, he's busting his ass, saving Boston, making sure that the drawbridge opens and closes. So we're going to be joined by my new partner and a really good friend of mine, Jay Nugg. Jay, how the hell are you doing, brother?
Pretty damn good, man. Aside from talking ugly mode.
Yeah, well, you know, you can't always look at the pretty guys, right? You got to look at somebody like me, unfortunately. So listen, Jay, now just to give people a background on what you do, you are the most educated Invicta guy that I know. You've attended, and correct me if I'm wrong, you've been to every Invicta event. You are passionate and dedicated to helping these fighters and just helping WMMA in general. Elaborate a little bit for me so everybody knows what you're about.
Hell, I don't know what I do, man. I just, I go to these things, big part of my life, really big part of my life, actually. Most of the fighters I grew up looking up to and stuff like that are females. I really didn't even get much into, you know, MMA. I don't even call it that. I call it martial arts. I'm not even gonna say it anymore. That's official now. I didn't really get into like the cage fight aspect of martial arts until Elite XC back on Showtime came out. And when they started Show XC and stuff like that, the women really got me more into it. Starting with Gina Carano and Julie Kizzy, for sure.
Yeah.
But I like to travel. I go to different fights, you know, do little interviews every now and then, try to get people to know what's going on. I just try to take more of a focus onto every other fight out there. People, you know, it's men and women, obviously, but the women for sure, because I feel they don't get what they should be getting. You know, it's like they're having to work harder at it, which is why they put on better shows.
I agree.
So I try to do everything I can and, you know, help people network.
And you're also a martial artist yourself. And when I say martial artist, I don't mean of the today's sense, the new version. You are a classic martial artist from way back. You're an old school guy. You're a young man, but you're an old school martial artist. You've dedicated a lot of time to helping guys, to training. You know, so you've got a background in martial arts in general, flat out. So praise to you, my brother. I really appreciate you taking time to come on the show, and needed to have you introduce yourself to everybody. First topic I got to get to, which is killing me. It's the IV ban. No more IV rehydration. This is going to literally change the landscape of the divisions in the UFC. I think it's a huge thing. I think we're going to see guys like Johnny Hendricks that maybe walk around a little chubby at 220, 230, and then end up cutting down to 170. I think those guys might have to either become Mike Dolce's neighbor or live-in buddy or fight at 185, man. How do you see the IV ban affecting the fights with the men, but also with the females as well?
With the females, I don't think it's obviously going to be a big of a problem. Of course, everyone's going to immediately go to talking about Cyborg, but I think overall it's definitely going to affect the weight classes because people don't realize what you're going through, mainly with your brain. Like your body, that's already got its own problems, but when you take away the fluid from your brain, there's one thing. Then you go back to rehydrating. That's another thing. You're not supposed to go back that fast. You can't handle it. It's like if you're in the desert and you start drinking too much water, drinking all that water alone could kill you. So now you're gonna get hit in the head or get choked and then have blood taken away from it, which it's already screwed up in the first place. So now you got a trifecta of problems going on. And a lot of people don't know it, but like, you know, if you already have like a mini concussion or something like that from, I don't know, earlier in the week or something like that. I forget what it's called because I ain't no damn doctor, but you could get hit again in that same exact spot and then just die instantly.
Yeah.
Extremely rare, but I don't want to be that person. You know what I mean?
It's happened.
That's checks and balances.
You're right. It's happening too, Jay. Listen, what you just said has actually happened. It's reported. That's not a myth. And when you're dehydrating your body, people have to remember the cerebral fluid, again, fluid that surrounds your brain is depleted as well. It's fluid. You're dehydrating. So, who's to say the effects that really does have on the brain? And I think that's an awesome point right there, Jay. Now, you were speaking to me about this thing that's coming out, I believe it was, where was it? Alabama? Arkansas?
Arkansas, I believe. I get the names confused. They're all A states. But yeah, it's Arkansas Athletic Commission. August 19th, I think it's when they actually started. It's going to be for amateur fights. It's going to make it to where they're going to do normal weigh-ins the day before the fight like usual, but they're going to have another weigh-in the day of. And I believe you can't gain back up to 7.5% of your body fat or your weight. I don't remember. I looked this up the other day. And you can be up to 2 weight classes more. So you can only be up to an extra weight class more, otherwise the bout just doesn't happen.
Right.
I haven't read anything about penalties at all or anything. It's going to last for 120 days total, and then they're going to have it to where the officials and the regular citizens can, plead their case, and they're going to go argue with medical facts, and then they're going to go on to hear what other people say, and they're going to make a permanent ruling. Now, they did a 6-month study, I believe, before, which is what led to this, 6 months or something, I don't remember. But basically, they already noticed so many people severely in amateur fights were having to go to the hospital just within a few weeks period. And they had an emergency meeting right before an event, and they're like, hey, we should change something. And now you also got the fact California next year starting their weight class things changing too as far as the weigh-in and stuff.
Yep.
So that mixing with the IVs, I think for at least a good 5 years we're going to notice several changes going up and down regarding how weight cuts are going to be done.
Yeah, well, you know what? And that was a point you brought to me that I really had only seen a little bit about. And I think it's really important because what we're seeing here is a shift in the way that the game is going to be regulated. We've got the USADA that's coming in and they're doing the drug testing, the random, the blood, the urine. I think we're seeing the effects of that. I can't say that that Silva came in and fought, not Anderson, but he came in and fought Magny, and he was soft. He was embarrassed of his body, yet he made weight. But if you look at his other pictures, he's ripped, he's shredded, and making weight. You always hear a lot of comments about the Brazilians, and they're doing this and that. Honestly, I think between the new drug policy, the IV ban, we're going to see a totally different landscape in MMA, period. I think it's going to be followed by other organizations. I think they're going to have to. I think it comes down to safety of the fighters. I think it comes down to fairness, right? Just a real competition. You have the freaks it's like Frankie Edgar, Jay, right? Now the guy walked around at 163 or something, fought at 155 and was the champ. And that says something right there. You don't have to drop 30 pounds to make a weight. I don't know. Do you think, honestly, Jay, now you are a mixed martial artist. Do you think going into a fight, after cutting, let's say, 25 pounds, rehydrating back up 15 to 20, do you see that as a real advantage in strength? Or do you see it as a disadvantage if the fight goes more than a round or two, the gas tank empties?
Truth is, it's never the same thing. Like say, bad examples of weight cuts going, Leslie Smith left fight Invicta. She looked like a ghost, and I hated that for her. But, I've A couple years ago, a friend of mine, he had his first amateur fight, and the guy he fought walked around at like 205, and they were fighting at 155. So the next day at the fight, this man was weighing exactly about 200 at a 155 fight. And at that time, I had no idea how that stuff worked. So I was just like, I was like, did he smoke a whole lot of crack the night like before, or what happened? You know what I mean? So that was when I really started looking like this guy was built like a brick shit house. And you know what? He was fucking huge.
Yeah.
You know, and he definitely had a strength advantage. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact my boy was able to blows, he would have been decimated. But you know, with that though, like I said, when you deplete all those fluids out, your body is not going to be able to maintain homeostasis right away out there. So it depends on the individual. Maybe you just got good genetics. Maybe you know a better way of doing it. You know, but me personally, there's not enough coconut water or Pedialyte to make me want to risk permanent injury on myself. Right. So I think it's just a mixture and luck, honestly.
And you know what, Jay? Mostly what we're seeing though is wrestlers, and these wrestlers have been cutting weight since junior high. So they've got to do it. They've got it down to a science. And you know, you talk about people that are cutting weight that are looking rough. At the last Invicta, at International Fight Week, the champ Evinger, I watched her. You were there with me, Jay. She looked bad. I was really worried about her. I asked her about it in the post-fight because she was a killer when she got in the cage. She dominated that fight. And she was brutal. That's a mean woman. If she's able to get out, you're in trouble. And she said, anytime she cuts weight, it's a nightmare. But she performed, you know. Now, with someone, and your expertise really being in women's mixed martial arts, and that's where I'm educating myself. What do you see, like, the effect happening in the women when they've got to cut weight? Because obviously Cyborg, you know, listen, she cuts to 145. Make no mistake about it. This is a 175-pound girl that is, she's in shape. She's ripped at that point. She cuts down to 145. The next day she walks in the cage, she's up around 170 again. Now we know she's rehydrating with IVs for 145. But the last fight, I've never seen her look better at a weight cut than that fight right there.
She was just chilling. She had her shades on, just listening to music. She looked honestly the most calm out of everybody in there. She came in super late, so I think she was ready to go, no problem. Yep. So I think whatever people are saying about her being able to get her weight down, I think is true. I just think really the women the problem with the weight is, and the reason I really want the changes for weight, like weigh-ins and stuff being done, is because for women, they got to go through a whole multitude of issues guys don't. Like, I know me personally, I can lose like 10 pounds in a day easy. I've always been able to. Like, I can know for a fact what I can cut to, what I got to do, no issue. But I don't have a period. I don't have to, like, because some women, they might not even know they're pregnant till they, like, right before the fight when they have to do a test. They're like, oh, did you know you're pregnant? I've known that to happen to women.
It's happened.
I had a couple of Invictus. So I'm like, we don't have to deal with that. So I think it's the whole IV thing, I don't think that's really an issue. I think the fact is there's a lot of other stuff that needs to be considered, especially since women are just now getting more of the limelight. I think that needs to be altered. And I mean, really, a lot of these women that are, 5'2" when cut, they really it's just like normal bodybuilding. It's just like they either look like they're on season or they're not. It's just for them, I think they really just got to go and hit the weights or whatever like that, and then they're ready to go. Because with girls, they usually cut, they go maybe down like, they walk around like 145, they might fight at 125.
Yeah.
So I don't think the IV really is an issue. I just think it's the fact that when they start implementing the other aspects of the new laws as far as like same day weigh-ins and stuff like that, I think that's what's going to hurt them.
Yeah, well, you know what? I mean, obviously, Jay, the more mass that you have, the more weight you can cut healthy. when you're a female and you walk around at 150 to 170, to drop another 30 pounds, that's huge amount of your total weight. So it's a big, big difference. And, you know, everyone wants Rousey Cyborg. I want to see the fight too, no doubt about it. But is it fair for, listen, we both know, I mean, Cyborg's a beast. But for her to get down to 135, which there's no doubt she could do that with diet, total dedication.
Last time, I got no problem believing that.
Yeah, well, to me, it's diet and dedication, and that's what it is. She can get there. But the question is she going to be Cyborg at 135? Rousey's fought at 145. The thing is, she's a champ. Does she have to chase other people? No, she's a champ. But this fight is like a Mayweather-Pacquiao, so to speak. If it doesn't happen, both of their legacies are going to be left short. Rousey knows she's got to fight Cyborg. She has to prove she is the better fighter. And in my mind, and I'm not a fan of catchweights. I'm not a fan of interim titles. All that is bullshit to me. But in this case, because it is such a big fight, because Rousey really is run through, she's like the Demetrius Johnson of her division. She's running out of opponents. I mean, let's be honest. Who does she have that can really threaten her at this point? And, you know, you could say Misha, because Misha's fought her a couple times, took her out of the first round. Misha's striking has improved. Look, she's got power. She's dropped people her last couple fights.
Yeah, I was at her last fight. She did great.
Yeah, and it's impressive.
Surprised me. I thought there was going to be a lot more exchanges, but she dropped her a good couple times. And you know, the fact is, improvement happens. But I understand with a lot of people saying, "Well, we already seen it twice." So, but at the same time, though, it's like, well, you look at the roster, you have to eventually cycle through it.
Listen, it's about the best fighting the best. Unfortunately, if your division is thin, and you've got someone like Misha Tate or Frankie Edgar, Chad Mendez, right? These guys are the elite. They fight, let's say, for instance, Mendez. He's fought Aldo twice. First fight, turnaround knee, knocked him out. Second fight, total war, 5 rounds, excellent battle. Edgar, again, he fought Mendez, went the distance. It was a close fight. So people say, well, we don't want to see it again. Well, what do you want to see? Do you want to see somebody that can't compete? Or do you want to see the best fighting the best? That's what it's about to me. The UFC got to this level by having the best fight the best, not by bringing entertainers in like CM Punk, who, for God's sake, the guy signed, never had a fight. He's given the ability to train until he's actually got skills to fight. Then they bring a tomato can in, and maybe he gets a win. But the bottom line is, it's the best fight in the best. That's what we want to see. It doesn't matter if they fought twice or 3 times. If they're the best fighter, if they deserve that shot, as a fan, I want to see it.
Well, that goes back to Mayweather-Pacquiao. Why didn't it happen for so long? Okay, it happened by the time Manny Pacquiao already started losing and wasn't focused on training. He's playing basketball and stuff like that. I'm like, well, you got to build up hype for the fight. It's like, well, the thing is, though, I personally believe that if you're in Mayweather's position or the champ at the time, you might want to just save that good fight to when you know everybody to leave, like Mayweather did.
Yeah. But
the problem with that is, though, you're complacent. You're in a good position. The other person, what if the other person's skill starts waning, or they decide they're going to do something else? It's like, now that fight is not going to be what it could have been. And if you really want to have a good show, you got to do it while the fight is ready to go. Like that Go Big thing. Look at how Aldo and McGregor were going at it. It's like, now's a better time for the fight than it was in the first place, because now he's like, oh, he faked an injury and kept talking shit on him, so he feels disrespected. Okay, so now you know for a fact Aldo's fired up this time, because I personally didn't think he seemed like, he's like, oh, I'm not, whatever, he's talking shit on me, that's cool. Now he's like, now he feels like it's more personal. So I think now is definitely a good time for that fight. So why are we getting that fight? But why aren't we finding some way to make this Cyborg Rousey fight?
Yeah.
Rousey said, oh, it's up to Dana White. And we're like, okay, fine. But then her coach was like, we're not going to do a catch weight. I was like, it's just a few pounds. She's an Olympian. She can do it. I understand she feels she doesn't have to prove anything, and you should come to my weight class. I get that. But at the same time, though, you know, I think as much as you're going to be talking, why not just go ahead and just, I'm this good, I will just do it.
And that's,
if you do that now, no one's going to be able to say shit.
and Jay, that is exactly it. That's the point. Rousey used to fight at 145, for God's sake. So for them to fight at 140, and to me, it's a no-brainer. Because for Cyborg, honest to God, I don't think it's about the title for her. Of course she'd like that title. Of course she wants it. But she wants to beat Rousey in the worst of ways. Jay, you are the man, my brother. I appreciate it so much.
I keep telling you that.
You are the man. And listen, guys, it's always my pleasure. I love it. Don't forget to stop by LUBMMA.com. Check out our YouTube channel. Check out my buddy Jay Nugg. Hey, for LUBMMA, for my partner Jay, I'm Dan Cox, and this is your MMA update. Click.